Welcome, Chosen One. We are pleased to help you in your journey. Have you ever been by yourself? Not simply physically, but in a situation when you are confronted with your deepest self and all outside distractions vanish. Most individuals don't realize the transformational impact of solitude. The truth is that solitude is an opportunity, a holy area where great transformations begin, despite the fact that many people dread it because they believe it to be synonymous with loneliness. We seldom ever get the opportunity to stop and think in a world full with noise, from incessant alerts to never-ending responsibilities. Life's incessant buzz prevents us from focusing on what really counts, our soul. An antidote to this pandemonium is solitude. By eliminating outside influences, it enables us to view ourselves without prejudice, justifications, or distortions. For those who dare to accept it, isolation is a gateway to unrealized potential rather than just a peaceful time. The selected ones, those who have the courage to take a new route, discover what has been concealed the entire time. These individuals are picked because they choose themselves, not because of any other influence. They decide to move into their truth, confront their anxieties, and detach from the chaos. However, what makes solitude so potent? Because it establishes the framework for introspection, transformation, and clarity. You lose sight of your own voice when you're surrounded by distractions all the time, whether they're from the media, other people's opinions, or social standards. You lose sight of your soul's own rhythm when you grow enmeshed in the demands of the outside world. You may hear the rhythm once again when you're alone. When was the last time you were all by yourself? Was it a situation or a decision? What was the sensation? The silence is initially unsettling for most people. Questions we've been avoiding need answers, feelings we've been avoiding surface, and thoughts we've been suppressing come to the surface. The magic starts right now, in this discomfort. Being alone acts as a mirror, bringing to light aspects of yourself that you may have overlooked or forgotten. Solitude is a homecoming for the chosen ones, not a means of escape. They can regain their authority and rediscover their mission there. We are taught by the world to avoid this quiet and to occupy every minute with activity, discussion, or diversion. However, individuals who treasure isolation see its actual worth. You not only learn about yourself in isolation, but you also learn about your destiny. It's not always an easy trip. Sitting in solitude, facing yourself, and facing the facts you've been avoiding takes guts. The knowledge that you already own what you've been looking for, however, is a treasure hidden within this area. Making time for isolation is the easy first step to releasing this force. Set aside 5 minutes or an hour to create a place where you may hear your soul's whispers and the world drifts away. This is where the journey starts, one that leads to a reunion with your actual self rather than a road of seclusion. Are you prepared to enter this area of change? Your transformation begins now. This message is already resonating within you. Don't forget to like and subscribe and embrace your inner power. Your journey begins now. When solitude turns into a haven, it unlocks the incredible potential that lies inside. These are inner abilities that alter your perspective of the world and yourself, rather than external abilities like flying or bending steel. We all possess the latent qualities of clarity, intuition, manifestation, emotional fortitude, and self-mastery. However, we must accept quiet and stillness in order to activate them. Clarity is the first superpower that may be acquired via isolation. Imagine a muddy pond that is constantly being agitated. The water makes it difficult to look through. However, the silt settles and reveals what's underneath when the flow ceases. When the mind is left alone, this is what occurs. The unrelenting din of other people's viewpoints, social norms, and even your own rushing thoughts subsides, revealing the unadulterated core of your reality. You start to see what really matters when you have clarity. You are able to look past illusions and let go of things that don't benefit you. Your awareness of your purpose, connections, and inner aspirations is sharpened by solitude, which serves as a magnifying glass. Because clarity frequently discloses difficult realities, it requires bravery to enter this area. True transformation, however, starts with this honesty. Clarity awakens the second power, intuition, after it has taken root. Your intuition has always been there, a voice that is quiet yet strong. It's the nudge that lets you know when to take action, when to stop, and which way to go. This voice is frequently lost in the shuffle of everyday existence. However, intuition is quite evident when one is alone and distractions are absent. Your link to a higher intelligence, the wisdom of the cosmos, is this inner direction. It takes confidence and experience to learn to trust your gut. It may not always follow reason or what other people think is reasonable, but it is always in line with your best good. The selected ones learn to pay attention to this voice in isolation, letting it confidently and purposefully direct their actions. The ability to materialize is manifestation, the third superpower. Being alone makes you realize that your ideas and opinions are active forces that shape your world rather than passive ones. The majority of individuals let negativity, fear, and uncertainty control their experiences, unwittingly manifesting their lives. However, you may consciously direct your energy toward the things you want to produce amid the quiet of isolation. Manifestation is about alignment, not wishful thinking. You can focus your energies, get rid of distractions, and clarify your objectives while you're alone. You have the ability to realize your dreams when you use intuition and clarity to direct your manifestations. Transformation is based on these three abilities: manifestation, intuition, and clarity. But they demand dedication. Being alone is a discipline that involves constantly going back to oneself. It's not a fast remedy. The selected ones are aware of this and voluntarily follow this route since they know it will provide incalculable benefits. Are you prepared to sit with the silence, face the realities it brings to light, and enter the forces that lie within? If so, your adventure has already started. An uncommon and underappreciated trait, emotional resilience, is your fourth superpower and the result of confronting your feelings head-on without diversion or evasion. When you're alone, you can't escape the emotions that surge up inside of you, whether they're fear, grief, rage, or uncertainty. Being alone forces you to face these feelings head-on, in contrast to the outside world where it's simple to numb oneself with diversions. Something amazing occurs when you give yourself permission to dwell with your feelings. You are no longer controlled by the emotions you used to avoid or fear. They become controllable, transient energy levels that flow through your body rather than overwhelming you. The goal of emotional resilience is to learn to hold room for suffering, comprehend its message, and allow it to pass without overwhelming you. It is not about denying or dismissing it. An unbreakable inner strength is developed during this procedure. Knowing that no feeling is permanent and no situation is insurmountable, you start to trust yourself to manage whatever comes along. Stability and adaptability are built on emotional resilience, which allows you to handle life's ups and downs with poise. You learn to view emotions as guides rather than dangers when you are alone. Every emotion contains information about your wants, requirements, and boundaries. You achieve a deep sense of equilibrium by paying attention to and analyzing your feelings, which makes you stronger, more composed, and more in control than before. Are you fully prepared for the last superpower? Self-mastery, the highest manifestation of human development, is at the apex of the abilities that may be attained by isolation. Fifth and last superpower is the capacity to regulate your thoughts, feelings, and behaviors to bring them into line with your best self is known as self-mastery. It is the ability to overcome ego, fear, and doubt in order to build a life based on love, purpose, and intention. You have the opportunity to study your thoughts and their patterns while you are by yourself. You start to identify the ideas and acts that have unintentionally dominated you, such as habitual responses and limiting beliefs. The first step to mastery is awareness, which enables you to break free from these habits and make deliberate decisions about your desired self. Perfection is not the goal of self-mastery. It's more about how you handle these emotions than it is about never feeling dread or uncertainty. Instead of responding rashly, it's about making the decision to act with insight and clarity. This ability develops with practice and calls for perseverance, self-control, and a desire to keep improving. You assume complete responsibility for your life when you achieve self-mastery. Instead of feeling like a victim of your circumstances, you now understand that you have the power to intentionally think and act to change your reality. Even in the midst of difficulties, this sense of connection and control creates a profound, enduring calm. Self-mastery and emotional fortitude work together to accomplish the transformation that isolation provides. They enable you to show up as your most developed self by enabling you to live life with strength, sincerity, and purpose. Anyone bold enough to accept the stillness and discover the incredible potential within may access these last abilities, just like everyone else. A life of solitude is not for the weak of heart. The path to embracing silence is paved with obstacles, but the benefits are enormous. The biggest challenge for many people is the uneasiness that comes when outside noise fades and they are left to deal with their feelings, thoughts, and anxieties alone. This self-confrontation is what transforms isolation, but it's also what makes it so intimidating. When you are alone for the first time, you may feel uncomfortable. The silence exposes what has been concealed by distractions, unresolved emotions, suppressed memories, and residual uncertainties. These are the aspects of yourself that you have neglected because you are too busy. They are brought to light by solitude, which forces you to confront things you have long shunned. This may be frightening and overwhelming. At this moment, a lot of individuals turn away and seek solace in noise, whether it be by overburdening their calendars, burying themselves in work, or browsing social media. While these diversions could offer short-term respite, they also impede development. The selected ones realize that loneliness is a sign of change rather than something to be feared. Confronting one's own thoughts is one of the most prevalent anxieties. Because of its inherent restlessness, the mind frequently races through anxieties, fears, and what-ifs. These ideas may become louder and more persistent when one is alone. The fact is, however, that they are not your adversary. They are only raw fragments of your narrative that beg to be recognized and comprehended. The process of confronting these ideas involves untangling them and distinguishing reality from delusion. You may uncover anxieties that no longer have a function or limiting beliefs that have prevented you from moving forward. This effort is freeing even when it is unpleasant. It enables you to make space for calm and clarity by letting go of things that no longer belong. The anxiety of experiencing emotions alone is another difficulty associated with isolation. When distractions subside, emotions like anger, grief, and fear frequently arise. Our natural tendency is to repress or avoid these emotions, but isolation teaches us to sit with them, experience them, and let them pass through us. Since emotions are energy in motion, they are not permanent. They can no longer hold you when you allow yourself to completely feel them. This is the starting point for emotional resilience. Learning to handle grief with dignity and fortitude is more important than avoiding it. Accepting isolation means embracing its unpredictability. Even if you can't predict what will come up in the quiet, you have to have faith that whatever comes up is precisely what you need to face. The selected ones bravely follow this route, understanding that while the suffering is fleeting, the change it brings about is permanent. In the end, the difficulty of being alone is a gift. Illusions are stripped away, and you are forced to face your true self. You uncover the power, strength, and knowledge that have always been within of you during this process. The question is, are you prepared to put up with the suffering in order to access the amazing life that awaits you beyond? Even if it is very intimate, solitude does not mean that you are cut off from the outside world. Rather, it changes how you interact with it. You start to show up differently, authentically, purposefully, and powerfully, when you accept the stillness and begin to tap into your inner strength. Your relationships become stronger as a result of the self-mastery, emotional fortitude, and clarity you get while you're alone. Since you've discovered it inside yourself, you no longer look to other people for approval or acceptance. This inner stability enables you to relate to people from a point of completeness, cultivating connections founded on honesty and respect for one another. Your sense of purpose is also enhanced by solitude. You may better understand how you can make a difference in the world by following your instincts. You start to exude the knowledge and light you've developed via your job, your words, or your presence. This has a cascading effect, motivating those in your vicinity to pursue personal development. To embrace isolation is to plunge more completely into life, not to retreat from it. Your newfound strength and wisdom serve as tools to help you take advantage of both chances and obstacles. By developing a strong connection with yourself, you may make a significant and long-lasting difference in the world and serve as a mentor to others who are still confused. One thing emerges from the experience of isolation, despite all of its difficulties and discoveries. You already possess the clarity, strength, and purpose you have always wanted. Being alone is more than just not having other people around. It's being oneself, unhindered, unadulterated, and unquestionably strong. It's time to consider what this means for your life and how you may go forward with transformation now that you know the 5 superpowers that isolation can unlock: self-mastery, clarity, intuition, manifestation, and emotional resilience. You must first decide if you are prepared to accept isolation as a sacred place of change rather than as a means of punishment or escape if you want to follow the path of the chosen one. Isolating oneself from the outside world is not what solitude is all about. Rather, it is about setting aside time on purpose to engage with your inner self. These times provide you the chance to separate yourself from the crowd, rediscover who you are, and realign with your mission. Begin modestly. Set aside 5 or 10 minutes every day to spend alone. This might be sitting in silence, writing in a diary, practicing meditation, or just being aware of your thoughts. It could seem awkward at first. You might be inclined to go back to distractions, your thoughts might speed, and your emotions might surge. But growth begins with suffering. Your bond with oneself gets stronger every time you sit quietly. Contrary to popular belief, solitude does not lead to isolation. Your ability to connect with others will increase with your level of self-connection. Being alone improves your capacity to interact with the outside world in a genuine and loving manner. You've already discovered affirmation within yourself, therefore you don't need it anymore. Relationships alter when you work from this place of harmony. Just by being yourself, you inspire others, listen more intently, and love more completely. You turn into a beacon of wisdom and direction for everyone around you, demonstrating the transformational potential of self-awareness by your own example. Keep in mind that loneliness is a non-linear journey. Moments of uncertainty, unease, and even opposition will occur. However, these instances are a necessary part of the process and are not setbacks. Perseverance and patience are necessary for growth. You deepen your connection to your inner forces each time you re-enter the stillness. These superpowers have always been a part of you. They are something you must keep in mind rather than something you must get. The instrument that reveals them is solitude, which removes the distractions and commotion to show your inner self. You must decide whether to embrace the silence and discover your incredible potential or to keep distracting yourself with the sounds of the outside world. Awaiting you is your chosen route. Today, take the first step and see how your life changes in ways you never imagined. Your destiny, your purpose, and your power are waiting for you. Seize them now. The silence is calling. Will you answer?